For ISS facility, we have some proposal documents in our SharePoint data, and those documents we have to sync with our knowledge repositories so users can interact with those knowledge repositories using simple natural language. Inside SharePoint, we have SharePoint underscore data folder, which we have simply want to track or sync with our knowledge repositories, which contains 5 proposal documents. Let me talk about the role first. For this application, we have decided 3 roles: bid manager 1, bid manager 2, and admin roles. Now, bid manager 1 can access Phoenix Retail Marriott Hospitality documents. Bid manager 2 can access Cipla Pharma GMR Airport document, and rest admin. And admin has privileges to access all the document files inside the tracked folder, which we are going to sync with our knowledge repositories. Let me open one of the proposal document to understand what things contains inside it. This is the proposal document, which contains executive summary, scope of the services, delivery approach, commercial summary, which contains normal text, tabular data, etc. Now I'm logged in as a bid manager 1. Let me start asking questions. What is the scope of services for Phoenix? It answers based on the data which is present in the SharePoint location. It not only answers the question, it also explains the summary of those topics which are important to answer the question, along with the source attribution. Means the generated answer, where it comes from, it also mentions in the sources section. You can ask follow-up questions as well. What is the proposal date of this client? It also helps us to ask follow-up questions on the previous relevant questions. Let me ask one question related to other documents, that those documents which are restricted for bid manager 1, and we'll see the result whether the bid manager 1 able to access those documents or not, which are restricted for him. Let me ask question: what is the scope of services for the CPLA? As I mentioned earlier, 2 documents are restricted for bid manager 1, that is CPLA and GMR. Now, the bid manager only able to answer on Phoenix and Marriott related documents. You can clearly see over here, it cannot answer the questions based on the provided context. That means we successfully implemented data level role-based access control. Now I'm successfully logged in as a bid manager 2. Let me start asking questions related to the documents those are having access to bid manager 2. What is the scope of services for this GMR client. It gives all the services which are listed in the document along with the sources. The top sources along with other relevant chunks. And also we can test out on the documents which are restricted for bid manager too. There is no proposal for Phoenix in the mentioned document. That means bid manager 2 does not have any access to look into the Phoenix PDF document which are there in the SharePoint location. Now I'm uploading a new document in the SharePoint location where we can test out how this sync functionality is going to work for this application. Let me add one document which named SharePoint connection guide. Let me open how it exactly looks like. Basically the connection, credentials, setup, everything is mentioned in this particular document which contains tabular and text data right now. Now I'm successfully logged in as an admin user. Let me click onto the control center. Here in this control center panel, you're able to see the index documents pending, failed, deleted from the SharePoint location. These are all documents which are there in SharePoint location are directly synced with the knowledge base. Here is the refresh button to refresh the status of all the indexed, pending and failed documents. And we have a sync now button. The newly added file getting synced with the knowledge repositories after clicking onto the sync now button. If any file gets modified, that is also gets synced with your knowledge repositories. So we only added new files into the SharePoint location. That's the reason only one file is going to process, not all the files which are already processed in this particular sync functionality. Now let's see all the documents are properly synced. The newly added file, that is SharePoint connection, that also getting synced with the knowledge repository. Let me go back to the chat section and start asking questions on the newly added document. What are the options to connect with SharePoint? Let's wait for 2 seconds to get an answer. Here it is clearly mentioned that we have two options. Let me check the sources part. The answer is coming from the SharePoint connection guide.pdf, which we recently uploaded in the SharePoint location, that is getting synced with the knowledge repositories. And using this chatbot application, we simply ask questions in our natural language, and that is getting answered by an AI system.